Hey, this is Hunter with Lone Star Woodworking, and today I'm going to show you a project that I was actually able to do in about 6.5 hours. Now, I didn't start working on this because anybody ordered it, but solely because I needed to waste some time. If you go back and you watch my last video, which is the Texas Ebony side table build, I mentioned that my son was supposed to be making his appearance at some point in mid-October. He actually made his appearance a little bit earlier than that. He was born on October 6th. We've been parents for a couple of weeks now. We're loving every second of it. He's a beautiful kid. And leading up to his birth, we were getting antsy, we were anxious, we were excited, and that was making time go by excruciatingly slow. So I went out into the garage and I just needed to find something to keep myself busy. And I come across this black willow cookie, which was the perfect size for a side table, and I still had some legs left over from that prior build. So I thought, okay, cool, I can run with this one. Now, the difference between this project and pretty much every other project prior to this is there's not going to be any epoxy. And the reason being is that if I did use epoxy, I'd have to wait a day in between using it to allow the epoxy to cure, come back, work it, and it would just make it a multi-day process. And that's what I was trying to avoid. I was trying to waste a lot of time and just keep my mind and my hands busy. The second reason is that in my bios for YouTube and all my social medias, I am a epoxy and live edge furniture builder or maker. So I wanted to do something that embraced the 100% live edge aspect of some of the things I can make. The only thing I'm doing to modify it is adding these bow ties to the crack that goes all the way to the side just to ensure it doesn't get worse over time. Now, I mentioned before that this is black willow, which is an extremely soft wood based on its Jonca rating alone. Now, if you don't know what the Jonca system is, it is a system that was designed to test hardwood flooring material to see how well it would stand up to dents, dings, and damage. But it was later applied to all wood species because it obviously had applications in other aspects of woodworking other than just hardwood floors. So then it became, more mainstream for everything. And the way it works is it measures how many pounds it takes for a pneumatic press to push a 1/2-inch ball bearing flush with the wood. And whenever that pneumatic press becomes flush with the wood, whatever poundage it reads out, that's its Jonca rating. So black willow is at 490, which is similar to cedar and pine. Now, even though it has the hardness of softwoods, it's actually a hardwood. And in case you didn't know, the difference between a hardwood and a softwood is actually the seeds. Some people say it's the Jonca rating, some people say it's the leaves. I can see why some people would say it's the leaves because there are certain aspects of the, biology of a hardwood that do make the leaves different from a softwood. But the only tried and true way to make sure that you are correct is to look at the seeds. If they are covered, if they have some kind of shell, that's a hardwood. So think a walnut, a pecan nut, or actually even a fruit, because fruit trees encase the seed in the flesh of the fruit. So those are all actually hardwoods. Whereas softwoods, they drop their seeds and they're just kind of open to the elements. Think a pine cone. So there's a fun little tidbit for you guys. Now, if you can believe it, we're actually a little bit over halfway through this video. So I wanted to take this time to say if you are enjoying the video, if you would like to see me make more videos, I would really appreciate a like and subscribe. It's not going to stop me from making videos if you don't, but what this specifically the subscriptions do is they allow the channel to grow, and it will make this a more mainstream aspect of my life. Because I would love to make this more of a second job or maybe even a primary job instead of just a hobby I'm heavily invested in. And on top of all of that, the comments, guys, I love them. I love responding to you guys. I love interacting with all of you. So keep those coming. Everything's been super positive leading up to this point. I respond to each and every one. So if you got something to say, go ahead and say it. I will respond because I absolutely enjoy doing it. All right, so the sanding on this was actually super easy because, again, it's really soft, so this 3M sander along with the sandpaper really just ripped right through it and made it a very easy process, which I guess isn't quite what I was wanting, but I was really happy that I didn't have to sand for hours and hours and hours. I think overall, I was only sanding for maybe an hour and a half total. So the mounting of the legs is pretty similar or exactly the same to pretty much everything else I do. And then I finished the bottom. And this is a problem you're going to run into whenever you use these cookie cuts. And in case you don't know what the, I guess, lingo is, a cookie is just a cross-cut section of a trunk. So instead of laying the log on its side and cutting it linear or horizontally, they stand the trunk up and cut it horizontally, making this type of cut. The issue you're going to run into, especially if you use a finish like Rubio Monocoat, Osmo, things like that, is this is all end grain, so it's going to absorb a lot of it. And in fact, I actually need to go back and not refinish, but apply more so that it's totally protected, because even with all of this on there, it still absorbed more than what I had. And this is the final product. I was really, really happy with it, and I actually kept that roughing that the wire wheel left on the sides. My wife said that it added to the character of this live edge piece, and she was actually being nice about saying character, not what most woodworkers understand to be, it's an ugly piece of wood and nobody wants it, so in order to keep from hurting your feelings, I'm going to say it has character. Now, this actually had a lot of really nice features to it, including that swirling light grain, and overall it was really, really beautiful. So that's going to do it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something, and I hope to see you next time.